Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Let's do the 0x14 MySQL task. Now this project requires that we set up an SQL server on Web 01 and Web 02 to some certain requirements. So now let's go ahead and see how that works. The first task requires that we install MySQL on both Web 01 and Web 02. The version of MySQL installed must be 5.7, then the others might be like 5.7, then maybe 1 or 2, whichever. So now we must make sure that the task 3 of of SSH project is completed for both Web 01 and Web 02. This task has to be completed for both Web 01 and Web 02. So you have to make sure that works fine. And then also we have to add the readme in our GitHub repository. Fine. So let's go ahead and work on this. The first thing we need to do is log into our Web 01 server. I'm already logged into mine. Or let me just exit and you can see how I logged in again. So SSH Ubuntu at and my IP address Web 01. Okay. Now I have a set of commands that I use to install MySQL on my own project. So you can we'll just go ahead and use that. I didn't use a script. As you know, I am used to using scripts for things. I didn't use a script because it takes a lot of input when you're running this project. When you're installing MySQL, it takes input of which password to use for the root user and all of things like that. So we don't want it to be using default passwords or just no passwords, right? So we'll go ahead and run the commands one after the other. So let's go back to this. So the first thing we need to do is run the first command. Before that, now in the link on top of this page, you can see how to install MySQL 5.7. Go ahead and click this. Okay, so now this link, also copy the link here to your clipboard. Let's go ahead and open that. Then let's go back to the MySQL project. That's all we need from there. So you need to go into this file. You need to copy this, like basically everything here, and create a file in your server. So I'm going to copy this. Then let me say nano signature.key. Make sure the name is exactly the same. Signature.key. So then I'll go ahead and paste. Control X, Y, enter. Save my file. So now you can see when I list my files, we have the signature.key right here. Where is it? Yeah, signature.key. So that's the name is required. Like we need to have it on that specific name. So let's go ahead into the commands back, and now you can see why we have the name as signature.key here, because we are trying to add the key as a signature to apt. So let's go ahead and copy this command, then run it. So now you can see we have OK as response. Let's copy this also. Paste, enter. And now you can see processed and imported. Make sure you have this type of responses, like it needs to be the same. So otherwise you have an error and then probably you should start again. Then let's go ahead and copy the next command. Okay, copy, paste. Let me just make this full screen. Yeah. Now the next command, sudo apt get updates. So while we are doing that, let's go ahead and understand how this whole thing works. So the first thing here is we need a key to access the MySQL distribution 5.7. So we've copied the key from here, then we've added the key to our apt. Then this one is to just like add a key server. I think this is one of the requirements for MySQL also for this specific distribution 5.7. So then this one like adds by default we don't have MySQL 5.7. When you run sudo apt get updates, what it does is it goes ahead and gets all the installation requirements for all those packages. But now since this one is an outdated package, you need to get it separately. That's why we have this echo stuff here. Then we can run updates to get and fetch all those requirements for the installation for MySQL. So now it's done. Let's go ahead and check if we've done it properly. So this is not really doing anything, just to check that we've done the whole thing properly. So now you can see MySQL server installed none. So then if you don't have this response, just you need to go back some steps. So let's go ahead and now install MySQL. Copy the command, paste, enter. So this would ask for some set of inputs that you should make sure you do like very carefully. Now you can see it's asking for a root password. Now you need to use a password that you can remember. You can even write it down, in fact, because if you forget this, you will most likely have to install MySQL all over again. So let's go ahead and use the password and make sure you can remember. So let me use admin or just root, anyways, root for mine. Then enter, re-enter password, root. Now you can see it's continued. So let's just go ahead and see the whole thing running out. So it's almost done. Then when it's done, we can actually test it by logging into the MySQL server from the terminal. We can see some quite nice things about MySQL. Okay, so yeah. So now it's just about done. Yes, so now we are done installing MySQL. So now when I run MySQL, is it version? Yeah, so now you can see we have MySQL version 5.742 installed. Okay, so now if you want to test, like if you want to log into MySQL in your terminal, so what you can do is MySQL -u root -p. So this will prompt you for your password, the same password you used in the MySQL installation page. So let me say root again, and now you can see I'm logged into MySQL. So now I can run SQL commands, create databases and all. But for now, let me just exit. Now remember, you have to do this exact same thing in your Web02 server. But just before we continue, let's see that we've done some things right by using our checker. So I think we should have two checkers working properly then. So because it's not installed on MySQL on the Web02 server, so let's go ahead and see what happens now. We should have two checks. Yes. So now if you did all that perfectly and your MySQL is installed, but still you don't have these two checkers after installing on Web01, then you should go to let me in task, the 0x0bssh from this link that we have here. You know, they said in the requirements that you should make sure that task 3 of SSH needs to be completed. So you need to make sure that you like complete the task by doing this. You don't go ahead and copy this SSH key, public key, then run this echo. You paste the key, then you have the double angle bracket, then .ssh / authorized _ keys. So now you run this and make sure that it works. So that's that about that. Since I already have mine, I'll just cancel this. But now you need to run it for yours if it doesn't work properly. So let's go ahead and go back to MySQL task. So you need to do this exact same thing for your Web02 server. So just for like's sake, I'll be very quick about it. Let me go back. Exit MySQL. Sorry. Let me get my IP address for Web02. SSH Ubuntu at Web02. So now I'm logged in. Let me go ahead and copy this key once again. Yes, I'm logged into my Web02 now. Let me create the file nano signature.key. paste, save. Now let's go ahead and run the series of commands once again. So I'll not be going through the explanations again because we are just doing basically the same thing on the Web02 server. So, yep. So then updates. So now let's see that that is also done properly by using the check apt cache policy. So when that's done, I would go ahead and install MySQL using the next command. So now you can see it's all proper also. So now I will run this command, but I would just like pause the recording mid-section so we don't waste just unreasonable time, since you already know how to work on that in the previous installation. So let me just go ahead and pause and come back when it's done. So now I'm almost done installing MySQL for my Web02 server. So then we can go ahead and see if that also checks right for the next checker in the task. Let's just wait for this to complete. And then, yeah, now let's go and check. But just before we check, let's confirm it ourselves and say MySQL version. We have 5.4 by 5.7.42 also. So let's now use the checker once again. And I guess there will be an error. So let's go ahead and wait for the checker to complete. Yes, there's a problem. That's because I didn't complete the Let Me In task for the Web02 server. I did this purposely so you can see that it won't work if you don't do exactly that. So let's go ahead and run the echo command, paste the double angle bracket. You have to make it double. If you make it one, you will be successfully removing your access from the server because it will be removing all of your public keys that you have there, which means you will be no longer able to log into your server, even yourself anymore. And that will be very annoying because you have to like set up everything one after the other again. Something like a week or 2 weeks of work, you have to restart. So that will be annoying. So let's just go ahead and make sure you have the double there and then .ssh / authorized underscore keys. So just so you confirm what I'm saying about the SSH stuff, you can run chc.ssh authorized underscore keys. So if you remember well, when you copied your public key into your profile, your ALX profile, so you can create a new server, these keys are the ones that you must have used, right? These keys are the ones you must have used for the profile. This must be the one you pasted inside of the profile. So that enables you to log into the server. So without this, it will be useless. So that's why we use the double angle brackets here to append to this file. If we use a single one, to overwrite the entire file, which means only ALX will be able to access your server. You'll be unable to do anything in your server. So now let's go ahead and check again to see if we did it right. Now this time we should have all 3 green checkers. Yes, we did it well. All right, now let's go to the next task. Now you can see, in order for us to verify that your servers are properly configured, we need you to create a user and password for both MySQL databases, which will allow the checker to access them. Create a MySQL user named Ubuntu user on both Web01 and Web02 with the name set to localhost and a password project correction 280 HBTN. Make sure that Ubuntu user has the permission to check primary and replica status of your databases. In addition, make sure that the SSH search is completed for Web0 and Web02. So that is that about that. We need to create a user, which is Ubuntu user, with a password, and then the host should be localhost. So now, as I always say and I always enjoy doing, you need to just make your things into scripts. So I did one of my scripts for that. So you can see here now we created the user, create user. This is like SQL commands. So we created a user, Ubuntu user at localhost identified by the password. Then we grant replication on client so the user can access the stuff. So then for all this, just for now, just leave that out. would explain in the next task. So just copy this entire script into your server, and we'll be doing the same thing for web 0 and web 02. So just copy for we are in web 02 now. So let me just go ahead and create the file. So let's say nano setup.sql. I'll paste everything here, Control X, Y, enter. Now I've saved my file. Now I need to enter the MySQL database, right? MySQL server. So once again, MySQL -u root -p. So now my root password, which is the one you used in the installation. So provide that, and you are logged into MySQL. So now we want to like run that script that we created. Now, if you notice, let me exit. If you notice in my current or working directory, pwd, it states that I'm in home Ubuntu, which is this is my current directory. When I list my files, we have set up the SQL in this file, in this folder, right? So now you need to provide the absolute path to that file. If you created it in a different folder, make sure you just know the absolute path to that file. Now let's go ahead and log into MySQL again. Now you need to type source, source, then the absolute path to that file, which is the one that I set up the SQL that I created just now. So home Ubuntu, then setup.sql. If you created your file in different folder, make sure you just use the exact absolute path so there are no errors. Now when I run this, you can see we have query OK, query OK. This is just because we run a number of SQL commands at the same time. You can see these are the responses to those SQL commands. So now you can just exit. I'll exit the server also. We are done for web 02. Let me go ahead and log into web 01. So now we have web 01. I'll do the exact same thing also. Nano setup .sql, paste, save, and then MySQL, my password, and then the exact same thing, source, home, Ubuntu, and then setup.sql. So the exact same response also. So now let me exit. And now let's use our checkers. So start a new test, and then we should have all green checkers all the way. So yeah, you can see we only have 2 checkers because one for web 01, one for web 02. So that's complete. But now let's check the next task here. So in order for you to set up replication, you would need the database, right? With at least one table and one row in your primary MySQL server, which is web 01, to replicate from. So now you can see create the database named Tyrell Corp. Within the Tyrell Corp database, create a table next of 6. So all of this has been done in the script. So we don't need to just go ahead and do that all over again, right? So if you check the script once again, you would see we have create database and all those data. So that works fine. Let's go ahead and see again. So all you need to do right now is just use your checker once again, right? Use the checker for task 2, all green. Go ahead and use task 3 also. We have hit the jackpot, right? So once again, all green checkers. Wait for it, all green checkers. So now the next task here is to set up replication. This is a very, very long process, so I will not be taking it in this video. You'd have to wait for the next one. All right, so I'll be doing this task 4 in the next video, so just keep on the lookout. I'll be uploading this soon. So thank you so much for watching so far. For the next task 5, before you continue, right, so just go ahead and subscribe to the channel, hit the subscribe button and then the like button also. So I noticed about 70 to 80% of you are not subscribed to my channel. So just please and please hit the subscribe button and then the like button also. So now the task 5 doesn't really require to do anything, so to say. It's just a script, so you can just go ahead and use your checker as long as you have the files in your repository. So let's go ahead and see the file MySQL backup. So this is all you need to have, and then you check your checkout will be fine. All checkouts complete. So that's about that. It doesn't require you to like run some commands or so in your server. So thank you so much for watching. Please like the video and subscribe to my channel once again. Goodbye everyone.